Hello everyone, it's YouTubeDriver. We are back with episode 2 of Flashback Series, and this time we are at Daytona Milton Keynes in 2019, and from memory I think this was the last race of the season, the last race of the last round of the season. So as you can see, it's quite dark, it was late in the day, and it's also wet, and as always in Arrive and Drive outdoor karting, we are on slick tyres. And we haven't started the race at this point, but the reason I put this bit on is just because I absolutely love this part, the formation lap, when everyone's in a queue. I don't know why, I will just never ever get old of it. It's such a nice, exciting kind of, you're anticipating what's going to happen. It's just such a good feeling. So pretty much starting the race here. I tried to get a good run onto the straight, but as you can see, it didn't go overly well, but I was quite confident on pace, so quite aggressive turning on the outside there, braking on the inside as I normally do, off the dry line. Already gained a fair bit of position, a fair bit of time compared to these who are racing in front. Already being quite aggressive, looking to the inside, trying to get a move on the guy in the red suit there. I think his bumper's still about there on the right hand side. So this time, kind of sacrificing that inside line, braking in a straight line, pretty much to make sure I get a good exit. So the exit there has secured that place. Again, braking inside line, but getting ahead of that guy there. So I think we're already, that's 2 positions up on the first lap. Looking here again, quite a bit of a bundle of karts going on. So again, just focusing on the exits, clean, trying to get past him on the straights where it's a lot safer. So look to the inside, no room. Nudge this guy in front, head slightly, and we've got another position there on the right hand side. This braking point there is quite tricky. Obviously you're in slicks. To be fair, that one and this one coming up is quite tricky, because even though you're not going overly quick because they're only corporate karts, you are still on slick tyres in the rain, and if you're really pushing the limits and you just lock up that little bit too much, you can find yourself sort of just skating, and also when you miss your braking zone, you're off the track, and you lose a lot of time. So this one here, trying to get the concrete on the left hand side. This guy was really slow on the apex, caught me out, but I didn't want to obviously push him wide and gain the position, so I let him go. Again, trying to get on the power as early as I can through there, braking to the inside. Pretty similar pacing compared to this guy. Bit more pace through there, look to the inside, little dive. Not quite sure where he was going then, to be honest. He was kind of middle of the road. Wasn't sure if he was doing, basically just weren't sure what he was doing. But again, focusing on the exit again here. Can we try and get alongside him into this next one? It looks not. We've got a yellow flag anyway, so hand up just to acknowledge, obviously no overtaking, it's a yellow flag. I think when we're after this corner we go back to a green flag, so pretty much trying to get a good run. We're waiting to see what's going on. I think at this point I could see those in front racing, and I don't think there was any marks down here, any lights for the flags. So there's a mark on the right hand side there who wasn't waving anything. So at this point I was pretty confident we're racing again pretty much. So trying to do what we did early in the race here, look to the inside of this guy. I don't want to risk braking too late. It's a bit, if I'd have braked too late then I'd have probably just understeered and run him off. So he kept the position for now, keeping it nice and wide. Again, focus on the exits. That curve there sort of hooks you in, but quite aggressive here. Curve on the left hand side, that's really tricky. You've got the concrete, which is quite narrow, and the barrier on the inside. If you go too wide, part of your tyres are on the slippy tarmac. Oh, do we send it? Nah, that was quite a nice little move. That we were alongside, plenty alongside enough. Just run him out of track, but I would say fairly politely. So that was quite nice. That. Now this is such a lovely feeling in a race when you know you've got a good bit of pace and you can just see a gaggle of karts in front of you, and it's literally just. It sounds almost cringy if you say hunting, but that it does feel like what you do when you just one after the next. So quite a lot going on. I almost clipped the barrier on the left hand side there. I think quite a lot going on here. So we're trying to again pretty much prioritise the exits, not getting involved in trying to not basically slow us down any more than we have to by getting into silly overtakes with people. Obviously we want our overall race time to be as quick as possible. So you know, trying to keep to our normal racing line as much as we can while still overtaking to keep our overall race time nice and fast. So this guy on the right, I think, was looking for a move on the inside there, but again, yellow flag, yellow lights anyway, flash on the right hand side means no overtaking. So hand up to acknowledge that. At this point, obviously I can tell we're already racing again. That guy goes for a move on the inside, doesn't pay off, so that's a nice easy position gain for us. This time concrete on the left, again nudged the wall on the inside, but it worked out quite well, so not going to get an overtake into here, so pretty much focus on the exit down to there, nice and wide, cut back. He's looking to the inside slightly, we look to the inside even more. That's another position done into that corner. Looking not too bad through here. Guy in front seems fairly fast to me. So the guy who spun before, who was wearing the yellow helmet, the orangey helmet and the white suit, I think he was one of the championship leaders, or one of the sort of the front runners in the championship. And essentially this was the first time I've done this track in the wet. I've done this track before in the dry, but it's the first time I've done it in the wet, so I felt like, even though this was the last race of the day, I felt quite confident with the pace. You can see we're gaining quite a few positions. I didn't actually feel like I had as much pace as the very, very top guys, including that guy who just spun sort of a lap or so ago. So maybe we're quite lucky with that guy spinning, to be honest. But yeah, and you can probably hear sometimes when I'm getting on throttle out of corners, I'm kind of jabbing the throttle, and it's kind of a technique you do to sort of gauge. Obviously in these cars you want to get on maximum throttle as quick as possible, but sometimes you get on them and you're just not quite ready to, you know, you get on it and it's a bit too early, you haven't quite got enough front end grip to pull you around, you get on the throttle and it just pushes you more into understeer. So sort of the jabbing technique kind of, it's a good way in your brain of gauging when can I absolutely just pin the throttle, so jab 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 and then go. Maybe it's not the outright quickest technique, so perhaps I was being a little bit, you know, my lines weren't absolutely perfect in this race, which I probably would say they weren't, to be honest. I don't think the pace was quite there compared to the very, very top guys, but anyway, let's not get too bunged up on that. It was a fun race nonetheless. So this time I actually looked to the inside, just because I saw that guy was obviously hit that big puddle the lap before, but didn't work out. So here, pretty much almost clipping the barrier on the left hand side, bit of mid corner understeer there, and trying to bring it back at this point, braking in a straight line, nice aggressive turning, wait for the front end to hook up, and again good run down here. So this guy would pretty much fairly match through there, so at this point I'm thinking don't make a mistake, keep it nice and clean, good exit onto the straight, riding the curb a little bit on the right hand side, riding the curb on the left, riding the curb on the right. So I think we probably gained a little bit of time there. Quick wipe of the visor. Visibility, to be honest, was pretty similar to what you can see in this video, probably a little bit worse. So there we are. That was quite nice, that we, as soon as the front end gripped, we was on the power and we were sort of oversteering, sliding through the corner. And in these conditions, it's quite a good way of getting the front end to go where you want it to go. So trying to hook that concrete on the left hand side, that was probably one of the best ways. I've done that. Flashing light on the right hand side, I'm not sure what that was for. And pretty much, really, that first corner was so fun. It doesn't look overly risky on this video, and it's probably not overly risky, but it's probably one of the quickest corners on the track, and you can be quite committed through there, quite an aggressive turn. Then on the power early, it's a very, very fun, rewarding corner. So here I'm always pretty much getting the braking done in a straight line, turning and trying to get on throttle as quick as possible. So I'm looking at this bunch ahead, I'm really pushing, nudge the curb on the left hand side there, almost nudge the barrier on the left hand side there as well. So at this point, this is such a nice point in a race when, you know, you're midway through, you've kind of settled down into the race, you know you've got a fairly decent bit of pace and you can see more karts ahead. It's just kind of, it's pretty much never-ending fun. So gained quite a bit of time through that section there, probably a little bit of a mistake onto the straight, but nevertheless we are, see I'm tucking in there, leaning forward, trying to get my weight sort of more aerodynamic and trying to get my weight off the back wheels. Whether that actually has that much of an impact. I don't really know. I imagine it doesn't, but it's quite fun nonetheless. So here, very, very frustrating. We did lose quite a bit of time there. I would say, watching that back, it's probably quite unavoidable. That incident, they're very unlucky because obviously it managed them guys ahead to get a bit more of a gap. I think at this point we're coming up to potentially the last lap, so pretty much really trying to push it here, gain as much time as we can, knowing that we're reeling these in, determined to get at least one of these before the end of the lap. So I know one of the guys ahead is somebody I've known for quite a few years from karting, and I pretty much knew we could have him. It was just a matter of whether we would have enough time. So yellow flag on the left there, but no yellow flag on our section of the track, so obviously we're clear to race. Push, 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 push. A little bit skitty on the brakes there. Did actually knock the wall on the left hand side there, but never mind, we were pushing quite close to the wall on the right hand side there. These are squabbling in front, so gaining time pretty much all the time. So again, nice and aggressive turning there. Smooth it here, aggressive turning on the power nice and early. Probably maybe a little bit too aggressive on the power, because you can see we've got a bit of oversteer through the corner, and that slowed us down a bit onto the straight. So running it nice and wide to the curb on the outside there. Yellow flag here pretty much stops any final efforts at overtaking, I think. Still on the yellow flag. I'm not sure if this is going to be the last lap or not. So with the yellow flag, I was taking a really wide line to hoping it would go green, and then we would get passed by the line, but it didn't work. You can see from my hand I'm frustrated because I was just so in the zone of getting these in front. Cheeky points for him then. That's how much I was in the zone. I was pointing to him just because in my own head I was like, I was coming for you. I knew I had you, but anyway, that was that race. It was really fun. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed looking back over this video, and I hope you liked it too. If you did, give the video a like, give the channel a subscribe. That would mean a lot to me. Got some good plans for some more regular content this year, including some races that we're going to be doing this year, so some up-to-date races which should be really exciting. So yeah, please give a like, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thank you.